What is up? What is up? Welcome to Black Diamond Club Live.
Live.
Right here Wednesday. Hey man, switching up a lot of things. Up the background. It's snowing. I guess it's blizzarding in Indiana. So we've got producing the show
73 degrees.
73
right now
degrees right here in Naples, Florida.
At 8 p.m. at night. Yeah, I love it.
James Lewis in the house producing
What's
the show. What's
happening?
up, James?
What's going on? It's a lot cooler here up in Indy, but it's all right. We've got a pretty cool guest coming on BDC Live tonight, so I'm super excited about that.
All right, everybody, you know what to do. You got to make sure that you have subscribed to the channel. So subscribe right now. Make sure that you are locked in. Make sure that you've turned on notifications. Make sure that you're getting those text notifications. Make sure you're jumping on. Here's the deal. We're going to be talking in a second to Michael Chandler, the man. And we are also giving away $500 right here on the show. And Michael's like, I'm in the giving spirit too. He's going to be giving away a very special autographed card. He's going to autograph it live,
Right now,
right
live
on
in
the
front of
show,
you.
and
That's
we're
how
going to get that
authentic
to
it
you.
is.
Somebody is going to win that. I got to see some comments. If you're excited, I need you to share tonight's broadcast. You got to tell people Michael Chandler's coming on. We're going to find out everything Michael Chandler. First of all, you know what's important here for all of you listening, for all of you. I've been super blessed to, well, so have you. We've been super blessed to know Michael for a little while now. And of course, I am a UFC fan. Like Jack
been UFC
Borla and
fans
I,
for a
yes,
long
we
time.
get together. Love my chicken wings and a
Yeah,
little
you
UFC pay-per-view. So, I mean, I knew who
do.
Michael
We
Chandler
like
was.
UFC live better.
Yeah, live is even better. But of course, like if you're a UFC fan, you know who Michael Chandler is.
Right.
But I didn't know Michael Chandler.
Mhm.
And I got to tell you, like I always tell people, like, I mean, yes, being a fan of Michael the fighter is not the same thing as knowing Michael the man. And I once asked Michael, I was like, hey, so I just want to know something. So are you a fighter who now is going into business, or are you a businessman who used to fight? And he still fights,
Right.
but I mean, like as he kind of is transitioning, and he said, well, I'm a businessman who used to fight. I love that because, you know, the fighting part is how everybody knows him. But I got to tell you, you're going to be absolutely edified with Michael's knowledge. He is so smart. He's such an intelligent person. Everybody talks about how smart he is in business. He's got a lot of things cooking. He's not done fighting, and he's already got a lot of things cooking. Before we bring him on, what do we have cooking?
I know,
in
and I actually have
world?
like a question that I don't want to forget to ask him when he comes
write
on.
it down on your notes.
I know.
You
I got it.
All
I got it.
Tell
I got it in
everybody
my
what we're
hand.
talking about in BDC world.
So we got a couple announcements before we bring Michael in. Number one, I think James has a slide for this. We have an amazing webinar that we are putting on January 31st. So Shawn is going to be talking about how to win the referral game. Why healthcare providers don't need ads to grow in 2023. Here's what I love about this. Everybody's talking about engagement in Facebook and how it's been a little bit more difficult lately. So if you've always put all your eggs in one basket and you have relied on getting all of your business through social media ads, putting things out there, you need to figure this other component out because it's not going to work forever. Things change.
Yeah.
We know that. So join us for the webinar on the 31st. Second, if you haven't heard, that means you've been living under a rock. We have BDC certified coaching. This is, I think we have just a couple spots left. You can reach out to Kristen, who, by the way, shout out to Twisty. His birthday is tomorrow.
And I'm taking off. I'm not working on Twisty's birthday.
I'll be working on Twisty's birthday.
Just kidding. I'm working
I
too.
know.
Come
He's
on.
turning the big 4-0.
40-year-old Tristan,
40-year-old
getting married.
Twisty.
He's got kids. He's at the whole thing.
I know. He's all grown up.
What does an entrepreneur
Love it.
do when they retire? Like, so when a UFC fighter retires, like they take the gloves off and they put him in the middle of the ring. Like Twisty, like takes off the hoodie and burns it, I guess. He's like, that's it.
Yeah, the hoodie is very
Burn the
like
hoodie.
symbolic of the entrepreneur, right? So I love it. Burning
All right.
hoodies. Okay. Anyway, so BDC certified coaching. If you've ever thought, man, people ask me all the time how I do what I do, probably a sign that you should check out the certified coaching program. It means that people want to know more from you. And guess what? You could get paid to do it.
And paid well.
And paid super well. Next up is Sales Matters. What's going on, Sales?
Sales Matters coming to Austin. We're going to be talking about all things sales, March 24th and 25th. look, man, sales doesn't have to be sleazy. It doesn't have to be a
Nope.
thing that you shy away from. Sales, everything is sales. Everything in life is sales. I heard today we were talking to an amazing young lady that was like, everything in life is improv.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? That's true, because there's no script. We're not running on a script.
You
Everything
adapt
in
to it
life is
all.
improv. So she was advocating that we should all learn improv and that we should be better at improv, because every conversation you have is improv. And I was like, yeah. And I even said to her, I was like, yeah, but everything is also sales. And then she was like, right, you know what you cannot do? You cannot bring a script to an improv session. How many of you are operating purely off of sales scripts? That's why you struggle. So come to Sales Matters.
We may just be talking about that concept.
March 24th and 25th in Austin. What else we got?
Oh, we also have Bourbon Nights.
Come on now, Bourbon Nights.
I'd rather be drinking wine.
All right, Bourbon Nights. We're coming April 13th and 15th. We have secured. That picture is the place. We're going to be descending upon Oklahoma. It's going to be amazing because we have an amazing crew assembled. This one, legit, I think we only have one spot left. We're going to be doing all things Bourbon Nights. We're going to be shooting hogs, shooting guns. We're going to be fishing. We're going to be smoking cigars, getting around the campfire, talking business, talking about how we can be better businessmen, how we can be better husbands, better fathers, how we can actually show up bigger and better. We're going to the Stonewood Ranch. This is all inclusive. We're going to be eating amazing, amazing food. And I'm not talking about grass. I'm not talking, if you're a vegetarian, this one might not work out great for you, but this is going to be an amazing experience. Look, if you're a vegetarian, you can still come. We'll figure it out because we've got great chefs lined up.
But you show up.
You do better if you're going to eat some meat and drink a little bourbon, smoke some cigars, and shoot some guns. We have some super surprise guests showing up. You guys know that I've been hanging out with the Heart of the Lion Foundation, John Daly, and all of those vets, some Navy SEALs, some Army guys, amazing people that are involved here. And they're like, hey, man, what is Bourbon Nights? How do I get involved? And so I was like, well, if you want to get involved, you got to come down and show these men how to be even better men, and not just how to be a better man. What's more important is how to understand yourself so that you could relate better to the world, so you could show up as a better version of yourself. Check out Bourbon Nights.
And last but not least, we'll have a spot or two for Scotland.
Well, that one's the dopest one. You won't believe who I got a phone call from this week wanting to show up over there at the Mastermind in Scotland. June 6th through the 8th, we're going to the Kinross Castle in Scotland. This is the signature experiential mastermind. You get me, Lacey, and David Meltzer, and his wife Julie always comes along. This one is amazing for 3 full days. We've got chefs, we've got wine, we've got scotch, we've got Dave Meltzer. That's a Loch Ness Monster lake thing in the background. You can sit out there on the back and hope you catch a glimpse of the Loch Ness Monster. All the amazing stuff. I do think we have maybe 2 spots left for this particular experience. Again, reach out to Tristan at blackdiamondclub.com, and we'll get you plugged in. All right, everybody, share. Here he comes.
I think everybody doesn't want to share tonight because they want the Michael Chandler signed card.
No, you got to share. That's how you get the signed
the love.
Card.
The more you share, the more likely you're going to win.
With everybody. Hey, I'm rocking. I want to say thanks. Let's bring on Michael Chandler. I want to say thanks to my guy, Skip Weiss. I'm rocking the Apollo Creed. In honor of Michael, I got the Apollo Creed doll out.
You got an Apollo Creed shirt. Why didn't you wear that? Remember?
I should have wore the Apollo Creed shirt. That's my favorite guy, Apollo Creed.
Slacking.
That's amazing.
Michael, what's up, dude?
Man, living the dream. Thank you guys so much for having me. This is an honor to be here. And yeah, there could be some very special guests in all of those experiential masterminds, because those all look awesome. I might just have to book a flight to every single one of them.
I love it.
Hey, we'd love to have you.
Hey, Michael, I got a question
first.
Yeah,
because you had a question.
I had a question because I think
question. Don't lose that question. I heard you talk.
So everybody, I know it's right here. I don't want it to go away.
Yeah.
After you came and spoke at our event, I mean, people just absolutely fell in love with you and the content that you bring and your insights and your perspective. And I know that they have been following and have been big fans since. So as soon as we mention your name, everybody in the chat is saying, "See you at the top."
Oh,
right?
Love it.
I know. So I'm curious because I know that you say this all the time, but now I'm just knowing you more. This isn't just a fighting thing for you, right? I mean, I imagine that this is something that for you is integral to all these components of your life. I would just love to hear more about that and where you came up with that.
Yeah, no, actually, it's actually so my longtime friend and mentor, Chris Patterson, we became friends over a decade ago. He was a huge Zig Ziglar guy, and he actually was mentored by Zig Ziglar.
Wow.
Long story short, Zig Ziglar walked into his health club in Plano, Texas, and Chris showed him around, and then they traded off mentoring for personal training sessions. So he was who introduced me to Zig Ziglar, and he wrote a book called See You at the Top. He said, "See you at the top all the time." So it kind of became, something that I say that everybody gives me credit for, but I'm very quick to say it's definitely Zig Ziglar who coined it. But for me, I think it just embodies everything. I mean, in every area of my life, I want to get to the top. I'm completely okay and accepting of the fact that I may not get to the top in every single area of my life that I aspire to. But I'm constantly making headway between myself and my goals and dreams every single day in every area. And also the see you at is just as important as the tops. Because if I get to the top all by myself, I look to my left, I look to my right, and nobody's there with me. I didn't bring anybody up there with me. I didn't inspire those people to get to where I would aspire to be. I want to see as many people there as I possibly can. And I think that's why God put me on this earth to make an impact. And thank God he put me in the sport of mixed martial arts, for as long as I have been, and going to keep on doing it as long as I can.
Y'all, I knew this was the question to ask. He was going to come out hot with some inspirational insight. People are like, yes, I love this. No, but I just knew because it's Michael. So, okay. Top that one.
Yeah, you're in the hot seat.
What I want to talk about actually is this transition. Now you're not done fighting, and we'll circle back and we'll talk about what's next in UFC, kind of where you are with that. But you are already clearly, if anybody follows you on social media, and I encourage everybody to jump on Instagram, make sure that you're following Michael. He's just killing the social media game, which for all of you guys that are like, I can't do social media.
Too much to do.
Yeah, I'm too busy. Well, you're not trying to prepare for a hand-to-hand human combat against another man. And while he's doing that, he's
taking care of a family.
He's on social media and he's launching business. Man, so Michael, as we look ahead, let's project out. I don't know what it is. It's 3 years, whatever the amount of time is. You are beginning to make plans for what life looks like after UFC. And I think that it's so inspirational for so many people because you know how many people are out there doing something that they don't necessarily love? They have a dream. I'm not saying that you don't love fighting, but they have a dream of, what am I going to do next? And you know what happens is they can't pursue that. They can't bridge that gap out of fear. You're not stuck in fear. You're not paralyzed. You're just moving ahead and you have so many interesting projects. What drives you and motivates you as you launch yourself into this next phase of life?
I think I just, at some point in the life of an athlete, there's a life cycle. There is an expiration date, if you will, especially in the sport of mixed martial arts. So I've always known that was going to be there. And I think I always thought it was going to be, 30, 31, 32, didn't know how long. Honestly, you never know how long a mixed martial arts career is because it is so volatile. And quite frankly, the damage that you can take while also not getting the financial reward of being able to provide for your family sometimes gets too much lopsided in one way and you're taking more damage than you are making money and able to provide for your family. So it's a very volatile career that I've been in for a very long time, but I've been very blessed to be able to be very financially secure in a lot of different ways by the decisions that I've made. However, I don't believe in this idea that we don't have to that we can't focus on 100% on the task at hand while also thinking about laying the groundwork for the next step. And now a lot of people would say, well, hey, you have to have all your eggs in one basket or you're not 100% committed to this. So therefore, you're not showing dedication. To me, luckily, my life is in cycles or training camps, if you will. I go through a 12-week training camp, and then all of a sudden I win a fight or I lose a fight, I get my hand raised or I go get out of the cage with my head hung low. And now I get to just come home and be father, be husband. And then I sure would get bored if I was just training all the time for not having a fight. So I've been extremely blessed. Relationships like y'all, so many great people in my life, so many people that I aspire to be like and look up to. And I've always just seen that if I want to make the largest amount of impact, I need to cast the widest net. And mixed martial arts is my shiny object that people say, ooh, that's cool. He fights in a cage and he bleeds and he does these things. But wait a second, there's more layers to him. There's a deeper sense of purpose that is more than just the punches, the kicks, the knees, and the elbows, and talking on a microphone. So I've just been truly blessed. And honestly, one of my favorite quotes of all time, to give anything less than your best is to sacrifice the gift. And I've been given some amazing gifts. So I'm going to keep on casting the widest net I possibly can.
That's so true. Like it's true that it's not true that you should only focus on one
the
thing.
Task at hand, right?
Because, like Michael said, well, then that means you'd be a terrible father. You'd be a terrible husband because all you do is fight. But there are people that are like that, right? There are people in your industry that's all they do. But here's what happens is, their career comes to an end, and literally life as they know it comes to an end because they had put all of their eggs just in that one basket. And that doesn't even necessarily mean that they've gone to the top, that they have left the game with a belt. They might have done everything they can, put all their eggs in a basket, comes to an end, and now they're like, well, now what? And so I think it's incredibly intelligent that you are not multitasking because you're singular in focus and you're dedicated in the task at hand, but you are also cognizant that there's multiple tasks that need to be looked at during their particular season. One of the things that I want to ask about then is, well, let's start here. There's a lot of things I want to ask, but let's start with how you're getting your word out. So because you are an admired fighter, because of your style, so many people follow you on social media, but you're leveraging social media for other things other than just, pictures of you kicking some dude in the head or pictures of you submitting somebody. You are leveraging the platform that you have to spread a message. Let's talk first about how have you learned to share this message through platforms that are available to you, like social media, and now moving into podcasting?
Man, I just it's one of those things, as you guys said earlier, it's somewhat of a daunting task every now and then. Trust me, I have felt the guilt of, okay, it's 9 a.m. I usually do my post at 9 a.m. Something popped up. I haven't done it yet. It's 12 o'clock. But I think being wired like an athlete, if I ever did feel like I was cutting a corner, then I know I'm doing the wrong thing. Or if I didn't fulfill a task, I know I'm doing the wrong thing. For me, social media has kind of been like that. And it's not truly, I'm building my platform and getting as many eyeballs as I possibly can to touch as many hearts as I possibly can to make the biggest impact that I can. So I've always looked at social media that way. And for me, it's just been a consistent, a drive to be consistent on social media. And that is how everybody says, man, you are great at social media. How did you build such a following? And it's like, well, number one, you have to have something to say that brings people value. And number two, you have to be consistent with it. And I think, I've given a couple, words of wisdom to some younger fighters or whatnot, because, nobody wants to see me with my shirt off flexing saying the best never rest. That's very me focused, that's very me focused and very,
I don't know. Nobody wants to see it.
I feel like there's some people that may argue that point, but
all that to say, there's so many people who they just kind of make it as like a poster of themselves, and they're talking about themselves more than, hey, here's a picture of me where I got knocked out in front of all these people, all my hopes and dreams got shattered. And here's how you probably were in a scenario like this in your life, in your business, in your relationships. And here's the couple things that helped me work through my pain. And I'm trying to add value through it. And trust me, it's quite funny because I'm in the sport of mixed martial arts. It's very much it's a little bit of a rougher crowd or whatnot. Y'all were there. It's a rowdy crowd. It's a little bit different. It's not like the circles that y'all run with all the time necessarily. So I do get a lot of comments that are like, who does this guy think he is, a philosopher? Oh, the next Tony Robbins of mixed martial arts. And I'm like, hey man, I'm just trying to bring people value. Like if you don't like it, unfollow. You're probably not going to, because really you actually like what I said. You just wanted to say something snarky. So it is kind of funny, but I think going back to the point of it, of why I put such an emphasis on it, was my number one goal when I came into mixed martial arts was to change the perception of what people thought a mixed martial artist was. And I by no means have always succeeded at that. But for the most part, I want people like yourself to be like, holy cow, that's a mixed martial artist. He fights in a cage for a living, and he does and then you see the way I live with my family, and you see the way I want to bring value to people. It doesn't make me any better or worse than any other fighter. It's just the conviction that I have that I want to change the mold and break the mold of what people think a mixed martial artist is.
I love that, because that's one of the things I was going to ask you is, what is the message that you're trying to get across? And then the second thing, so that's a great message. And that's something that Shawn and I talk about a lot, knowing you now. And after meeting you, is that, I mean, we've followed a lot of martial artists and we were like, wow, just so amazing. Like, again, your ability to inspire and your perception and what you see and how you share. But you say that a lot, like, I hope to inspire others. I'm curious as to what you hope to inspire them to do.
I think life is funny too, right? Sometimes the thing that you despised the most about your past, or the things that you regretted about your past, or you regretted about the way that you were brought up, turn out to be your biggest platform, or they turn out to be your biggest message. And for me, I truly was just a small guy from a small town who was taught to do small things. And I was encouraged to do small things. And quite frankly, if you tried to do big things, or leave those county lines, or make a lot of money, or drive a car like that guy, you're probably not a good person, and that's no, I guess, stab it at any one particular person in my life. It was just more the aura, or the aura around me that I grew up in. So when I went to college and started opening up my mind a little bit, and started seeing successful people who had huge hearts, and where they were philanthropic, and they served people and loved people and took care of people, I really changed I really changed my thinking of what it meant to be successful. So I think that is my message. My message is, I was a small guy from a small town. I'm not supposed to be here. Quite frankly, the stories and lies that I told myself in my mind, never in a million years would I be sitting here talking to you guys and having the life that I have created, and my amazing wife, the woman of my dreams, my boys, just the life that I live. So if I can do it, and I can break the chains, living in the jail cell that I lived in my mind, when I had the keys in my hand the entire time. And I think so many people struggle with that. We struggle with that imposter syndrome. Who am I to be successful? Who am I to reach these things? I'm just me from wherever in the world. And I broke that mold, and I'm still trying to get better. But that is my message. And I was very, I think, resentful and kind of despised the way that I was kind of brought up for a very long time, and then realized, wait a second, this was God molding me and shaping me and building me into the man that I needed to be, to have this voice, to talk on stages like this and opportunities like this, so that somebody from around the world can say, you know what, I see a little bit of myself in him, and if he can do it, I can do it.
I love it.
I just gotta say though, because I don't know if you can see, I don't think you can see the chat, but people are just going bonkers for this, saying that this hits home. It totally resonates with them. They're saying, man, how many people believe that lie? I believe that when I was growing up. People are just, you're hitting them with that message. And I think that so many people do feel, the chains and the shackles that they have literally created in themselves. And it's so hard to break through those. And like you said, it's a constant process, right? Just because you can break through those limitations and those beliefs and through that jail cell once doesn't mean that the residue of it doesn't exist, right? And we have to constantly work on that. But the fact that people can know that there's opportunity to break out of that and become whoever it is that you desire, I mean, that's a powerful message.
Well, you don't go from small things to massive things either, right? Like, so it wasn't like Michael was like, a small guy in a small town, and then all of a sudden
he
just signed a contract with the UFC, right? So then it continues, because you go to university and you're wrestling, and that's kind of cool. But then you think like, well, that's a big thing, and then you wonder what's the next bigger thing I could do, and you just, every step of the way, I'm sure even now people continue to tell you like, you're nuts. You shouldn't be going out into this entrepreneurial world. What are you doing? You're going out into a world that you don't know what you're doing. You're with people that you don't know who they are. You're outgrowing. You're just not in the right spot. So it doesn't matter where you are. There are always the people that are telling you that this can't be done, right?
Yeah, no, and I love what you said too, Lacey. It was like we tell ourselves these lies for so long. We tell ourselves the same story on a loop, and until we're able to realize that we're being lied to, that the enemy is the inner me a lot of times. And it's not because you were born a certain way and I was not born to be a small guy from a small town who was taught to do small things. That was not God's intention for my life. But by the nurture of my surroundings, that is who I became. And then going back to what you said too, Shawn, is we have to learn to trust ourselves, or we have to find ways to chip away at and check the boxes of, I have to be able to trust myself in each different season. And eventually those seasons compound on themselves into the big dreams, and if you can't trust yourself, when I go inside of a cage in front of 20,000 people and millions of people on TV, when those bright lights come on, can I trust myself? In my greatest moment of opportunity, am I enough? Am I trustworthy? And I am by no means perfect, but I know when you live a life above reproach in the training aspect and the preparation aspect, and you're doing more than what is required of you, you're constantly reinforcing inside of yourself that I can trust me. I can trust me. Maybe I don't get the job done. As we said, you guys saw the last fight, I lost. I didn't get the job done of winning, but I can trust myself to go out there and put my best foot forward because I put the preparation in. And it's just, I can't stress it enough. You can't have these huge, lofty, exponential goals without focusing on the small, menial tasks that lead to each different season, each different level, and each different rung on the ladder to get to said big goal.
Go ahead.
I was going to say that line of, can I trust myself in the moment of my biggest opportunity? Like, I hope that people heard that, because that's what you should obsess about. Like, if you're going to focus on one thing, it's about how can the inner you trust you, right? And how can I do everything every day and make effort to become a better version of myself? Because that's going to allow me to be a better version for everybody and win in that opportunistic moment.
Well, that's perfect, because that was what I was going to talk to Michael about. Michael's been dropping bombs here on the live, but also on social media, and it feeds into that. Like, that trusting of yourself has an awful lot to do with the trust and the preparation that you put in.
Right.
And I saw you posting recently. I felt like you were foreshadowing. We'll come to that. But you're talking about the preparation, and you are never disappointed in the preparation that you put in, win or lose. You never if you put the preparation. Now, you could be disappointed in the preparation you didn't put in, but when you've worked hard to get to a spot, and people that don't understand the discipline of, in the business world, waking up early or staying up late,
Right.
but doing your reading, staying connected, sending emails,
that I did the
follow
work?
up, hiring coaches and mentors, getting to events so that you can be edified, constantly learning more things. And then when the moment arises, win or lose, you're never going to regret. You're never going to regret the preparation that you put in. Talk to us about that, because I actually was blessed to go and see the level of preparation and come down there to
Sean
Florida.
was fired up after that.
Of course.
You can't prep like that. You did one Michael Chandler workout and almost threw up.
Oh, well, no, that's the app. That's the app. We'll come to the app too. That was when he was trying to kill me. I'm talking about when he's trying to kill himself.
His preparation is not your preparation, but okay, let's go there.
Similar, but no, I love it too, because sorry, what was the question again? You just threw me off.
Preparation that you're never disappointed in the preparation you put in.
Yeah, because I had this. So it's actually funny, because similar to you guys, I've had so many friends and family members and people come to my fights, and sometimes they come and it's a 15-minute, 25-minute knockdown, drag out war that you better have put all the preparation and all the time in. You better have done all the extra stuff. And sometimes I've gone out there and knocked the guy out in 30 seconds, and I've literally had people say, and I've also lost in the first round too. Let me throw that out there. But and the fight lasts less than a minute or two, and everybody says, man, you put in all this preparation, all this time, all this work just to go out there and not finish this guy in 30 seconds. Do you feel like you wasted time? And I always thought, no, I put in the preparation so that could happen. And also, it's never a waste of time, because it's not about the destination. It's about the journey and who I'm becoming with every single rep, every single set, every single session, every single flexing of my faith muscle, every single flexing of my discipline muscle. I'm adding more layers to the armor on my body, physically and metaphorically, for the long run, for this long race that we run as human beings. So if I want to run this race and I want to finish strong, it's not about each and every competition and each and every opportunity. It's about the journey along the way and who am I? It's the testing of the fruit. I had this really awesome conversation with my father-in-law recently, and we were just talking about some struggles that I was having. And he talked about the testing of the fruit that God put inside of you, the fruit that you were supposed to bring to the world. There's going to be times that it's going to be tested. And who are you in those moments of the greatest testing? The deepest, darkest testing, the most painful testing. Who are you? Do you sacrifice who you are? Do you sacrifice your character? Do you sacrifice your work ethic? We all have these different areas that maybe we're less proficient in than we would like to be. It's the testing of the fruit, and it's the testing of your character and your mettle and who you are going to become. Because I can tell you this right now, when we're doing business together and we're sharing stages 10 years from now, after I get done with this, I'm never going to regret all of the hard work that I put. I'm never going to regret the wins or the losses or any of that, because it's going to make me the man who I want to become 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 15 years from now.
Let's do a little bit of a fight analogy, because when you mention that, what I think is that for the entrepreneurs, and sometimes when I talk to Michael, I think to myself selfishly, I wish you weren't in UFC, because you're such a brilliant guy. Like, you would just be an amazing entrepreneur, an amazing coach.
Oh, but he's going to be.
I get it, but like
he already is. You already are.
You guys are stuck with me, all right? You guys are stuck with me. So don't worry, you ain't getting out of this one. Right? You guys are stuck with me.
Let's talk about this. Let walk us through, because you're dropping this experience and we're tying it to the business side. And when you say that, like, testing the fruit. And so probably for you, like, there's moments in the ring or in training when it's hard, but I even imagine like there's moments in the octagon where you're there and you're like, man, this is not very fun. I'm not like, I didn't like, maybe even you go back into your corner and you're like, I don't, did I sign up for this? Like, how many rounds did we agree to? Because this is not going the way that I expected. But what I think about in the entrepreneurial world is what that is that's when, you're looking at numbers. And revenue's off, or expenses are high, your profit's down, you're having problems with your employees, clients are leaving, and you're like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm about to lose.
Yeah. Why did I do this in the first place? That's what people say.
Yeah. So tell us about that when you wrapped up round number 1 in that last fight, and you go and you sit down in the corner, and like, what's going through your mind and what pushes you through? How do you know to even just go out there and continue on, because the tide can turn?
Yeah, no, it's true. And there's been so many times in fights where, whether even when you're winning or losing, I've had some times where I'm winning a fight and then all of a sudden it hits you and you're like, I can't breathe. I can't feel my legs. How am I supposed to finish this fight? But that's the journey of life. It's a metaphor for life. It's a metaphor for entrepreneurship. It's a metaphor for relationships. Fighting, that's why we're drawn to it. And that's why I'm so thankful God put me in it. Because like I said, it's this shiny object. And all of a sudden, when you start to see it a little bit and you study it, you realize it is just a metaphor for the fights that we're going through every single day in our life. And maybe the word fight sounds a little bit confrontational, or it sounds a little bit harsh, but it's a battle. It's a struggle. Life is a battle and a struggle at all times. And the enemy is always on attack. So it's the preparation that you've put in. And the preparation creates the character of the man or woman that you are, that will carry you through and be able to trust yourself when the going gets tough, when you're in the valley, when, there's been times in fights where I go back and watch it because I don't remember half my fights. And you go back and you watch and you think, okay, no, hey, actually I'm having a flashback. I remember I couldn't feel my legs in that point. I was dead dog tired at that point in time. But you find a second wind, and finding the second wind in a fight is a metaphor for all of the battles that we have fought in our lives as well. Like Lacey said, why did I even start this thing? I'd be lying if there wasn't some sort of form of, holy cow, do I want to go find a way out of this fight? Do I want to just go ahead and end it right now? And then all of a sudden, you win the battle. And luckily, it's just a moment of time. And it just goes back to, oh, yeah, that's right. Snap out of it. I'm going back. And I'm going back into it because I deserve this. I've worked hard for this. And yes, I am by no means perfect. I might not even be better than the guy that I'm fighting. I might not deserve to be here in certain aspects of this position or that position. But in the long run, I deserve to be here. And I deserve to win this fight and give myself permission to be successful. And I think as we go back to the self-image, self-concept, self-belief aspect of things, so many times in my life, I gave myself permission to lose and not succeed and not win, rather than giving myself permission to win. And I started to ask myself the question, Michael, somebody has to be the best. Why shouldn't it be you? And
I love
that
that.
question I asked myself, I had to answer it and say, wait a second, I do everything right. I will run through the brick wall for my coach. I will do more than what is required of me. So why wouldn't my actions and my belief in myself line up with that sentiment that I should go out there and give myself permission to win?
That gives me
That's like
goosebumps.
so
That gives me
powerful. Like just
goosebumps.
giving yourself permission to win.
Like,
I think
somebody's got to win. Why not
why
me?
not me? You know,
Yeah.
and then the other thing that keeps hitting for me, because I actually did a lot of work on this with my coach, and he always asks this question is like, who do you want to show up as in your most undesirable moments, right? And then you have to ask yourself, am I that person already? And if
Yep.
I'm not, how do I become that? And part of that is giving yourself permission to not only win, but to learn from your failures, right? And like, I think that that's so powerful what you're saying, because really what you're talking about is all of the things that happened in your life, from being a small guy in a small town to giving yourself permission to be the best. And that journey allowed you to be the strong individual you are when you're winning, but also in the moments when you're not. You know, and that's like just such a powerful thing. And I don't think enough people do the work that's required, the preparation that's required to show up as that person and be that same person no matter what's happening, no matter what circumstances.
Yeah, and I love what you were saying earlier too, Shawn, about I forget who you were talking to, but life is an improv. And, you were talking about sales and an improv, and that's the problem too. There was no owner's manual or script of going from I don't believe in myself, I don't deserve to be successful, small guy, small town, all the different stories and lies that I told myself. There was no script or game plan or blueprint to follow to get to who I am today. It just was every single day pounding on the pavement between me and my dreams, and then ups and downs, and then not quitting when there was the downs, and not quitting in the face of adversity, not quitting when I was losing, and just the lies that I just continued to tell myself. I just stopped believing them a little bit. And even I think one of you guys said something earlier too about trying to get rid of that small guy from the small town. I did a podcast with John Gordon, the author, and we actually got off camera after, and we started just talking back and forth. And I was like, yeah, John, I just wish I could just, kill that little guy from the little town who was taught to do little things, and life would be good. And then all of a sudden he kind of thought for a second and said, well, then why would you need God? Why would you need faith? Why would you need something to lean on anymore? If everything in your life that was negative, you were able to just slay it and do away with it. And then I did some mindset coaching with a mindset coach here in town named Jim Hensel, and he said something really profound too. He related it to dragons. Some dragons in your life you're going to slay, and then some dragons in your life you're just going to get really good at pushing into a corner. And they're always going to be there, but you're going to get really good at pushing him into a corner. And I visualized this little guy from a little town who was taught to do little things. I've just gotten really good at duct taping him to a pole in the basement of my mind and putting a whole roll of duct tape around his mouth. And trust me, that dude's squirrely. He gets out every now and then. And I can hear him screaming at me. His voice is a lot more faint, but he's still there. And I go back to the enemy is always on attack, and he knows me better than I know myself. Sometimes it feels like. So that's why it is important, as you said, Lacey, you have to do the work, even when you feel like you are bulletproof. That's where you are your most vulnerable, when you feel like
Right.
you are the most bulletproof. You're at the top of the mountain. That's right when you're going to falter the most, because you stop standing guard at the gate of your mind, and then the enemy creeps in, and then one thing leads to another, and before you know it, you lose 3 fights in a row, 688 days without winning a fight. That was me just 4 or 5 years ago. I thought my career was on life support, and somehow by the grace of God, here I am.
But you know what, though? I just thinking when you were talking, like, I deal with those mindsets and some of those beliefs from when I grew up. And what I have began to realize is that small guy from a small town, like, he's oh so necessary. You don't want to kill him off, because he allows you to see the contrast of your strength, of who you've become. And if you didn't know him, you wouldn't really recognize who you are now. And so he still, he still has to exist. The little Lacey that is inside of me still has to exist, so I can recognize how far I've come to know that I can go farther, right?
Contrast.
Yeah,
I love
contrast
that.
is powerful.
I love
So,
that.
so Michael, do the entrepreneurial version of taking your shirt off and flexing. I figured it out when you said that. When you said that, I was like, that makes a ton of sense. Like, this is one of the reasons, right? You're like, yeah, because I tell people, like, I have hugged Michael Chandler. It's basically like I hugged like a piece of concrete. Like, it was just like hugging some cinder blocks. And I was like, this is like, I think I got cut one
Contrast,
time.
babe. That's because you
time
mostly hug me, right?
His delts cut my arms on the back there. Like, I was like, I think he cut me.
Hey,
But
to be fair, that's not exactly what I look like right now. That's like, well, that was like 3 weeks before a fight, so I'm at my leanest. So.
But the entrepreneurial equivalent, taking your shirt off and flexing when you're in amazing shape like you are when you're a professional athlete, is talking about your accomplishments in business. I got a text message from you one day, and you were like, "Hey, man, I want you to take a look at this cram." And I got to tell you, there's a couple instances where, number one, the very first time that we met, I was asked or proposed, like, why don't you have Michael come and speak at one of your events? And I was like, the UFC guy?
Mhm.
And then it took 30 seconds of listening to you speak, as anybody who's watching this right now knows. You can hear him and you're like, yeah, you're not talking to like a doofus fighter. You're talking to an incredibly intelligent guy. Then you text me one day and you were like, look at this cram. And I was like, peanut butter and jelly? And then I got in touch with these guys and I was like, wow, Michael Chandler is a genius. Like, this is incredible. I am in. Flex a little bit. Tell us about these things that you're involved in. You've got Cram, you've got the app, you've got the podcast, you got all these things that you're doing. Tell us a little bit about what you're working on.
Oh man, yeah. Aside from just fighting, yeah, I've been very blessed to just to preface it. Everything in life revolves around reputation, and I think I've just coveted my reputation and tried to never burn a bridge, make as many friends as I possibly can, as many connections as I can, keep my nose clean, be in the positive headlines, not the negative headlines, and I've just had some great opportunities of seeing things and creating relationships with people. So yeah, Cram was one that I saw, and like you, first of all, I didn't even need to try it to think that, holy cow, this is genius, because it is a healthy version of one of the. I mean, peanut butter and jelly is as old and timeless as anything, and it's beloved. Everybody loves peanut butter and jelly. So for Cram to come out with a healthy version of Cram with all the ingredients and how nutrient dense it is, plus electrolytes and everything, it was almost a no-brainer before I even tried the product. Then I tried it, and it was absolutely delicious. So we got Cram, Speed Fitness as well. So we have a cable-based home and commercial piece of fitness equipment that is absolutely awesome. I've tried it so many times. I actually have a unit coming to my house very soon. And so we are launching those and starting to sell those here in the next couple months. Some real estate investments. I do have a Walk On Fitness, my fitness app. I've had, as you said, you've tried some of my workouts, but I've always loved fitness, and I think the reason I am almost 37 years old and still competing at this level is because I've trained strength training for so long and my body is durable. And people have always said, hey, you're posting all these workouts, why don't you create these programs? So finally I created an app. I created a 4-week leg program, 4-week upper body program, a body weight program, a 6-week kind of a little bit higher level Michael Chandler crazy workout stuff, but the other stuff is very basic. Level 1 entry level fitness stuff.
Not that basic.
It's not that basic. Shawn almost threw up.
What you did would not be part of or that would have been more part of the crazy bundle. But
okay.
Yeah, so give yourself some credit. But okay. Aside from that, yeah, just creating a different mold for what a mixed martial artist is, plus realizing, part of it too. I think the scarcity mindset that I grew up in also has fueled me to say, hey, fighting will eventually end, and you're really doing yourself, and not just myself, but my wife, my boys, a disservice by not thinking about what is next. Because you can't take the gloves off for the last time and lay him in the center of the UFC octagon, and then wake up the next morning and say, hey, Shawn, okay, what am I doing? Or, hey, like, what am I doing next? I want to have things already in the pipeline and things that I'm already cultivating and creating when that time does come, and I'm still 100% fully committed, and I can shut all of that stuff off when it's time for me to train for a fight.
And oh my gosh, Dan Mooney's gonna kill me. I can't believe I didn't say speed. My gosh, Dan, I'm sorry, Dan. Man, how did I forget that one? Thank you, Michael, for bringing that one up. What's that? Oh, well, I have to get to this.
Okay.
One last thing. So
no, we don't want to keep you too long. He's got a
what's next? What's next in the UFC? You're like putting these things like, I'm ready for another training camp. You're like foreshadowing, like you're itching to get back in there. Like, so what's the story? Are we making another run for the belt? Like, what's happening?
Yeah, it's as of right now, there's nothing nothing on the docket. We're working on a couple things, talking to the UFC about a couple things. Some things are transpiring. Nothing is materialized enough to really, talk about live. But obviously, I'm always training, because I do think if you don't use it, you lose it. So I'm always kind of training. I'm always continuing to become a better athlete, and that's what I'm doing. And also, formulating these fitness programs for Walk On Fitness. So I'm obviously in the gym creating them nonstop, and that requires me to work out as well. So it just works out well. But we're still making a run for the title. I do believe, in the UFC, with what I've done, who I've fought thus far, you're fighting the best guys in the world. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. So I'm still 1, 2, maybe 3 fights away from the title at most. So string together a couple wins and get that title shot. Or, Conor McGregor, there's been a lot of talk about me and Conor fighting. I think it's a huge buzz. I think Conor's interested. I'm obviously interested. You've heard me talk about it on the microphone a lot. You heard me talk about it in interviews. The media is talking about it. The fans are talking about it. It's going to be an epic fight if it happens, and I'm confident, expectancy, waiting for that phone call, and I think it's going to happen. So let's see.
Wow. I don't think Conor wants that fight. Tell you why. Conor doesn't want that fight. He's trying to fight someone else. I could tell. All right, James. Let's give away some money. We're giving away $500. Everybody stick in here, because Michael's going to be giving away a signed card. This is going to be amazing. So you got 30 seconds when James calls your name to claim your prize.
Is so loud.
Yeah, James.
Is it?
Or something going on there.
Yeah. All right, let me get my 5 names.
It's like, it's squeaky. It's a squeaky wheel.
First name's up, James.
And while James is doing that, listen, if Michael's message resonated with you tonight, he made an impact, you know what? Just shoot him a DM and let him know, because the best thing that you could do. Let's blow up Michael's Instagram,
the best
everybody.
Thing that you
could do for somebody is let them know that their message was received, especially if that's what's on their heart. So
tell him what you got out of it. What you got, James?
Yes. All right, let me get my timer up and our Jeopardy sound music. Okay. We've got Joseph Giampa.
Joseph Giampa. Joseph, are you on? Do you want $500?
Joseph, are you on?
Joseph.
Joe.
Come on, Joseph. Claim your $500. Oh, see. Yeah. James.
Joseph.
Yes.
Are you monitoring the chat here? All right.
So James,
Michael, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna alternate. So Michael, tell us what you got for the crew, and then we're gonna draw a Michael Chandler name.
Yes. All right.
Oh.
Well, I'm excited. So we wanted to come up with something that'd be pretty cool. So 2021, I won the Fight of the Year against Justin Gaethje, and Panini, the card company, created a card of me getting punched in the face by Justin Gaethje, but it was Fight of the Year. So right now we are going to do the drawing, and I am going to sign this with a silver Sharpie right here.
Wow, that's awesome.
This is a Fight of the Year Panini card signed by Michael Chandler.
We're going to draw until somebody wins. James going to draw the canasta, because you already have the 5 names for the...
Yeah, this one doesn't expire. So James in the canasta, draw Michael Chandler Panini card winner. You just got to be on here.
Oh, Paul Natoli says, I have your rookie card already.
Oh, dang.
Hey, Paul, let's go.
So,
Love
do
that.
they get the timer, or if they're here?
Yeah, they get the timer. Yeah, we gotta get
Okay.
the timer. We can't have.
Okay.
We had to go to the
Oh,
we had to
that's
go to
true.
VAR
Let's go,
a couple
let's
weeks
go.
ago, Michael, because someone jumped in and they were like fractions of a second late. So we had to go to the replay.
You had to go to replay.
We had to go to replay.
Had to go to replay.
Oh, all right. What
All
do you
right,
got,
this for the
James?
Mike Chandler. Adam Ardoin.
Oh, Adam Ardoin.
Come on, Adam.
Adam, are you on?
Adam Ardoin.
Oh, we're gonna get a winner.
Yep.
Hey, Michael. So my good buddy Jay Gennaro, while we're counting this down, if you
Adam
shout out
Ardoin.
Jay, he texted me because he wanted to know, and he's a big fight fan. He wanted to know your move to Bellator. You were at the top of the game in Bellator. Was that strictly a business decision, or were you attempting to prove that you were amongst the best in the world?
I was attempting to prove it, and I can tell you exactly what I visualized for a very long time. I visualized the me at 40 years old, laying in my bed with my head on a pillow that felt like a rough cinder block, because I'm not going to be able to sleep the rest of my life if I don't at least go try my hand at fighting the best guys in the world in the UFC. And I decided I didn't want that for my future self, and here we are, and it's worked out pretty darn well so far.
I love
That's
it.
awesome. James, let's draw another Michael Chandler card winner.
That way he can go, so we don't have to keep keeping him.
Okay.
He drinks a lot of water.
I know, you
Notice.
do drink
He's
a lot
got
of
he's
water.
got to drink.
You don't
He's
drink
like
enough
short.
water.
He's like a half a gallon short for the night.
All right, let's see. Jacinda Nav.
Ooh,
Ganav?
that is
Jacinda.
Jacinda.
It's
I know
ticking.
who Jacinda works for. Jacinda's bosses are
Yes.
probably like, you better get in here, and if you win, if you get in here, I'm taking your card.
Jacinda. Oh my God, Brandon Brown wants this so bad. I think he's probably your biggest fan.
Brandon Brown is your biggest fan in our community, Michael. Brandon
My
Brown.
man Brandon.
Like Brandon shows up to everything if your name is
Everything
involved.
Michael
He follows
Chandler.
you, yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, she's probably at the gym, they said. Jacinda.
Oh, that's funny.
Come on, James.
James, come on.
Get us
We're
a
All
winner.
right. I need a good one here. Ooh, this one might be here. Let's see. Let's find out.
Ooh.
Let me reset my timer here. We got Ryan Hukin.
Oh,
Ryan
Ryan
Hukin. Go. 30 seconds. Hit it. Go. Oh my God. I'm sure Ryan or Abby's got to be on.
One
Oh,
of them has to be on.
Come on,
Ryan. Oh my God. Everybody's like, Ryan's got to be on. Oh my
Oh
gosh.
no. Oh no. Is he not on?
Wow.
They said he's not on?
Oh.
I don't see him.
Ryan said I could have it. He's always on.
He's
That is
always
the
on.
craziest thing. We might have to go to a replay on this.
No, he didn't get it.
Doc Throttle said he's not there.
Come on, James.
Oh man. All right, I'm going for a good one here.
I think James
See.
should say Brian.
Brian. All right, we've got George Hannaford. George Hannaford.
All right, and then we're gonna go one more, and then we're gonna go.
Oh no.
I'm
You
gonna.
gotta get a winner. Hey, listen, I can tell
We
you
gotta
this.
get a winner.
Get a
He's
winner.
here for the card.
The UFC just
George?
called me. The UFC just called me. So hopefully we're getting some fight news. But we're staying on until somebody.
The
Are you
UFC
serious?
just called you. Are you serious
swear.
right now?
I swear. I swear.
Oh
It was
my
actually
God!
about-
Are you sure?
it was about-
We can keep drawing. We can do
About
the
20 minutes
money
ago.
stuff.
That's how much I love you guys. It was about 20 minutes ago. That's how much I love you guys.
Oh my
What?
All
gosh!
right, well, I got you. You better
We
text
kind
me.
of want to
You
let
better
you go
text
just
me.
so we could hear what happened.
You better text me afterwards.
That is amazing. Everybody says that is good
Hey,
juju.
Dana, who are we fighting?
Oh my God! Tell the UFC
All
you're
right.
busy. They say. Come on, James.
I'm gonna pick.
Everybody's-
I'm picking a good one here.
I feel like James might just be.
Yeah, what are you doing, James?
Oh my God, James.
I'm not looking. I'm not looking. Oh
Come on,
wow. Oh wow. my man, Billy Chow. Is Billy Chow on the building?
Come on, Billy.
Is Billy
Billy
Chow in the
Chow.
building?
Billy Chow, are you
Is Billy
on?
Chow
Gotta be like
in the
freaking
building?
hotels in Australia. Pull the next one, James, so you have it ready.
Okay.
Yeah, we can't be
All right.
waiting.
Can't even, it's okay. You can just move on. We know Billy's sleeping. Stop that.
Okay. All right.
That way, as soon as it's done, you
No,
got the
Billy.
next one coming.
All right. Bradley
Go.
Hahn. Bradley
Ooh.
Hahn.
Bradley Hahn, are you on? Rapid fire. Everybody said just rapid fire. I think we should rapid
Fire. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
All
right.
Bradley Hahn is here.
Bradley Hahn's here.
Oh.
There it is.
let's go.
Bradley Hahn. Let's go. Let's
Oh
go.
man, look at that! Right when
Wow.
we're about to rapid fire. Congratulations, Bradley Hahn.
That is awesome.
Wow.
Hey, Michael, thank you so much for jumping on. Hey, why don't you call the UFC? Hit me up a text if you got a fight.
Okay. I will. Hey, I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for having me. I love y'all, and I'll see you at the top.
You're awesome. See you
Yeah,
at the
at the
top.
top.
Guys.
Thanks.
All right, you guys,
Hey,
don't go
Jamesy,
away. We
don't
still
go
have
away.
4 names for the $500. So
We got-
even though you did not win the card, which Bradley, we will get over to you. Give us a little time to get your info and have Michael send that out. And make sure you post it. And hey, guys, seriously, make sure that you message him via Instagram.
Yes,
that will
message-
mean a lot
Message
to him.
him. It
Tell
means a lot.
him.
Here's what
Yeah.
happens too. Let me just tell everybody before we get all excited. What happens is people think in your head, like, I'm not going to message him. He's got millions of followers, and what a lost opportunity. You need to jump on Instagram. You need to follow Michael Chandler. You need to message him. Tell him what impact he made on your life tonight, because he's a human being too. You like getting messages. You like being recognized. You
Right.
like being told that what you did served a purpose. So do that for Michael. All right, we've got 4 more names to go. We're giving away $500.
4 more names. Name number 2 for the $400 is Nancy Cooper.
Nancy Cooper's on sometimes
Nancy
too.
Cooper.
Nancy. I love Brian says, is it
Jack Boy.
ironic that people want to punch Bradley over a UFC card? Bradley's response is, thankfully, I'm a big guy. I can take a few punches. Y'all, this is funny. Nancy Cooper, are you on?
Is she here? Oh no.
I think
Oh,
Dexter's mad. We're making so much noise.
yes, we woke Dexter up tonight. Oh,
All
right.
Nancy. All right. Gosh.
3 more to go.
Reset.
Come on, guys. Look at. I
Let's
feel
do
the
it.
good juju because somebody won.
Yes. All right,
right,
next
what you got?
name is Chris Carr. Chris
Oh,
Carr.
Chris Carr. Chris.
Chris Carr, not Chris
Carr, are you on?
Carter. But
Carter?
Chris,
No,
No,
Chris
Carr.
Carr.
not
Oh.
Chris Carr, not Carter. Chris Carr.
Carr. Chris Morrow, Chris Brown, everybody.
All the Chris's.
All the Chris's
Chris
are
is
here,
coming out the woodwork.
except Chris Carr.
Even if somebody does
Chris
not
Carr, are you
win
here?
this $500 tonight, y'all probably got more than $500 worth of gold dropped tonight by Michael Chandler.
Yeah.
Bradley Hahn got the fight of the year.
Yeah.
Panini card signed by Michael Chandler.
No, I told James to pick my name for that, but James getting
Sorry.
fired.
Sorry, Lacey.
2 more to go. Is that what we've drawn 3?
Yeah,
How many more do we have?
Yep, 2
More
more.
chance.
Two
$500 on the
names.
line, folks. 2 more names to be drawn. Here we go.
Jennifer Hinman. Jennifer Hinman.
Jennifer Hinman. Hinman?
Hinman.
Jennifer.
Hinman.
I
Hinman.
can't see that at all when you show it. It's very
Oh.
blurry. I don't know if it's on my end or.
Oh,
But Jennifer Hinman,
Jennifer Hinman.
are you on?
There we go.
Jennifer. Jennifer. Oh, there we go. Nice. Dang, small heart attack. Jen Troy. Oh,
Oh
everybody.
man.
50% there. We're halfway there with your names.
Okay, this is the last
This is
name,
the
folks.
last one.
All right,
James,
everybody.
pick a winner,
All right, everybody.
please.
Here we go. We need
Pick
a
a
winner.
winner,
We need a winner.
please.
We're going to draw one
All
last
right.
name. We're giving away $500
I feel like if Michael could give me
stone
something-
cold cash. $500, one name. You've got 30 seconds to claim your prize. Ready?
Ready. Emily Camper. Emily Camper.
Emily Camper.
I think Emily's been called before too.
I think so too.
I think we've
Oh,
called Emily before.
see, you guys always freak me out. You put things like, I'm right here. I'm on. Like, oh my gosh. Y'all, I tell ya. Emily. I feel like she's been called before.
Yeah.
How some people's names get called multiple times. Can you imagine getting called multiple times and not being
Yes.
here? All right. I feel bad. Well, I guess next week you can win
$600.
$600.
We're giving away
That's
$600 on BDC Live next Wednesday.
I think that we got up to 1,000 at one point.
At one point we got to 1,000. We're at 600.
$1,000.
Yeah.
That means we're drawing 6 names. I hope everybody enjoyed BDC Live. Listen, folks, tell your friends about us. We're going to keep doing this.
And watch this one back.
Yeah, watch
This is
this
probably
back. Tell
one
your
you
friends
should
what they
watch again.
missed. Like you don't get to hear Michael talking just about life, business, not just about fighting. And hey, sounds like we might have an announcement here soon, or maybe they just wanted to know whether he wanted chicken.
I can't believe
fish
he got
or
a call
steak at the
20
next
minutes
UFC
ago.
dinner.
Yeah. Woo! Love it. All right, everybody. We love and
We
appreciate
love you
all.
so much. Tell your friends, and we'll see you back next week, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, BDC Live.